Summer 2025 is when Two Bears, One Cave accidentally became a Stavros Halkias project. You can see it on camera. He walks in as a guest, sits down like a fill-in, and then plays it like a man who just got the keys to somebody else's house, threw a party, and quietly decided, yeah, I live here now. The show itself called it the Summer Bears Run and leaned into the Takeover bit. Fans ran with it. Comment sections lit up. Clips started moving. And by the time Stav and his partner in crime, Chris Distefano, taped their last episode of the Summer Bears phoned it in. They were openly talking about how shocked they were at how much people loved it.
I thought people would hate, because I'm trying to conceive of a world where you step into someone's podcast and everyone's not off.
Right.
Like, to me, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. They listen for you guys. I have been shocked at how much people love this episode. Our episodes.
People have been stopping me in the street and be like, thank you for taking over Two Bears.
A man with a Netflix special, a film on Hulu, and a podcast that debuted at number 3 on the iTunes charts was surprised to find out he was great at podcasting. This is the story of how a chubby Greek chaos agent from Baltimore waddled into one of the biggest podcasts in the world, made himself at home on the couch, ate all the food in the fridge, and made the whole thing feel, for one glorious summer, like his show. How it happened, why it worked, and what it says about the current state of the comedy podcast universe. Buckle up. Stav wouldn't. Two Bears, One Cave is the brainchild of Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, two comedians who, on paper, have no business being friends. Tom is a deadpan comic who delivers punchlines with the energy of a man quietly enjoying someone else's suffering.
I went to buy a coffee just a few weeks ago from a coffee place. Just so there's no confusion, I didn't go to a shoe store, I went to a coffee place, okay? I go up to the lady behind the counter and I go, can I have a coffee? And she goes, well, we have a special promotion. And today, for $2, you can get this drink, and it has vanilla, and there's whipped cream, and there's sprinkles on it. And I was like, that's cool. I don't want that.
Bert is a story comic who operates at about 140% capacity at all times, sweating through shirts, screaming about his daughters, and desperately needing, the room to love him.
You've got beautiful young daughters.
I thought you were going to see my eyes.
No, I can't see your eyes. There's just beer everywhere. But are you going to tell your daughters about your record? Do you have like a plaque at home saying the world's best partier?
My daughters are so stupid. I don't have to worry about them reading anything.
They follow them after their dad.
Oh, you got it.
Together, they discovered a very specific chemical reaction that millions of people find deeply watchable.
Who you calling?
No one, hold on.
I'll take a sip of Kool-Aid.
Go ahead.
The
Kool-Aid? You're drinking Kool-Aid to start your day? Really?
It's so good.
What kind?
Red. Kool-Aid is awesome. It really is awesome. It's so good.
The show lives in a certain comedy podcast tier, there with Rogan, Kill Tony, and whatever Theo Von is doing this week. It has advertisers, a dedicated fan base, merch, live shows, the whole machine. But here's the catch with a show that runs for years and becomes a hit. It develops a groove. Certain stories always seem to come back. Bert is probably going to be mildly humiliated. Tom is going to say something quietly devastating and move on. The audience knows the beats. They're comfortable. And comfort in comedy is a double-edged sword. The fans love it, and on some level, they're waiting for someone to shake the table. Enter Stavros Halkias.
Coming to the stage now, the people's champ, the crown prince of Baltimore. Please put your hands together for Stavros Halkias!
All right. Hell yeah.
If you don't know Stav, here's the 30-second version. Born in Baltimore, raised on Greek food and self-deprecating humor. Early co-host of a beloved and genuinely deranged podcast created by Nick Mullen, which ran from 2016 to 2022. He launched his solo show, Stavy's World, in 2022. It debuted at number 3 on the iTunes comedy charts and pulled in hundreds of thousands of subscribers in its first year. His independently released special, Live at the Lodge Room, hit 1 million views in just a few days and went on to rack up millions more. By late 2023, he had a Netflix deal for his second special, Fat Rascal. He was reportedly selling over 85,000 tickets in a year, and he was headlining rooms like the Beacon Theater in New York. GQ and Vulture were name-checking him as part of a new wave of comics, and someone you should and will know. And here's the important part. None of that came from a traditional industry rollout. Stav blew up because he had years of truly wild crowd work clips sitting around right when YouTube Shorts and TikTok decided to fall in love with him. The timing was lucky. The volume and quality of material were not. That was the work. Stav is a crowd work monster. He thrives on chaos. He has no off switch. He'll dig into filthy territory with the cheerful energy of a golden retriever who just found a dead raccoon and is very excited to show you. He is both the butt of the joke and the guy delivering it at the same time, and he's comfortable in both roles. And then there's the laugh, this honking, full-body thing that functions like a contagion. When Stav laughs, the room laughs.
Yeah, what's going on with you, man? You all right? How old are you? Do you want... 28. 28? Okay. Oh, we got to get you some pussy. Or I don't want to judge. Which one? Either one? Are you open?
The former.
Pussy. Yeah. Yeah. She's just like, nice. She's not what's the closest you've gotten to fucking? It's all right. Huh? A kiss?
Making out.
Huh? Making out? Oh, relax. What the This women like you are making this guy too shy to all right? Let him tell us! Tell us a deeply personal thing in front of 300 people. And do it fast! How are we gonna get you some... All right.
By the time he walked onto Two Bears with any regularity, he was already running hot. Netflix special cooked. Movie in the can. Stavy's World thriving. The algorithm knew his body better than his doctor did. Two Bears just gave him another room to dominate. Now, Stav's run on Two Bears didn't begin as a takeover. It started the same way every big pod tests chemistry. You bring in a funny friend, you BS and hang out and see what happens. One of the early Stav and Tom episodes is just the two in the room, talking culture, food, the overlaps between Greek and Spanish, and dads who ran their households like small warlords.
I went to preschool with an accent. I was like,
Greek accent.
Hello, I am Stavros. A, B, C, D. Like literally, and half the kids in my class were like that.
Really?
When I was growing up, it was like 60% Greek people in my neighborhood.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you guys lived in a Greek neighborhood.
When my parents moved, I think that's kind of why they stayed, because this is like the 80s when they moved back. Dude, there was like Greek-speaking theater, like local theater. Like they would put on productions and like enough people would come to see them and pay for tickets that was like a sustainable cultural event in the neighborhood. It was crazy. It was really, I mean, it's unfortunately kind of like diffused now, but it was cool.
Tom is, finger quotes, at his best when he's genuinely amused, and you can hear it when Stav starts going. But at this stage, Stav is still clearly the guest. He's in the house. He's not running it. Then come the three-person episodes. In 2024, they do the wildest take on soda. Tom, Bert, and Stav sit around debating sodas.
There's no other question I take more insulting than when somebody goes, how about a Diet Pepsi?
Right.
How about you stand in traffic?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Spit in my eye instead.
So wait, you just got to change the way you take in the Diet Pepsi. You got to change your perspective.
I was
the same way.
I don't know about
way.
this.
I was the same way.
I'm very skeptical about this.
I was the same way.
I'm glad you're voicing. I'm glad you're voicing my inner thoughts.
Hold on. I'm here to stand up for Diet Pepsi.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Across the board, Pepsi products are A&W root beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pull up the Pepsi products. A&W root beer.
Let's get into sodas, fellas.
Mountain Dew is a Pepsi product.
All right.
Mountain Dew kills it. Mountain Dews kill it.
Are you
hungover on vacation?
Before a coffee, you kill a Mountain Dew, then the
no.
coffee even hits harder.
This is the most Florida trash you've ever
Yeah,
sounded
this is
in
a
your
very
life.
trashy.
This is a Mountain Dew is a morning beverage. That's what you're trying
By
to
the way, you were going to say,
praising Zach Galifianakis.
And he still is the sweetest guy. I saw him at Brody's funeral. He's, Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he goes, "Hey, Bert, it's Zach." And I went, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I didn't know if you'd remember." And I was like, "Buddy, you're in the biggest comedy in the history of comedy. Like, everyone knows who you are, Zach." And he's like, "Well, it's good seeing you." I was like, "It's great seeing you." And then he murdered at Brody's roast.
he murdered.
Did you go to Brody's roast funeral?
Drifting into Confederate history.
Do you look up Stone Mountain, Georgia?
I've never
Ever seen that?
That's wild.
Stone Mountain, Georgia is like it's very impressive when you see it, and then you're like, oh, and then when you learn, so what that is, right?
It's like an etching into the mountain.
Yeah, it is an etching into the mountain, but then
And a very interesting auction item Bert found.
I got a 12-inch on a placard that said "It's only" on the placard from
What?
really,
and I raffled it off at our daughter's school.
how'd that go?
Was it a mystery box?
It was a
kind of
mystery box.
situation?
The description itself reads like a Two Bears Mad Libs, and Stav fits right into that energy. By October 2024, the show starts acknowledging how often he's around. In Two Bears, episode 260, Starting a Cult, the description notes that Stav has earned the Two Bears Triple Crown. He's appeared with Tom solo, with Bert solo, and now with both of them together. Bert is gushing over his movie. They're talking comedy Mount Rushmore. They're talking Bert's regrets about the machine. What's more interesting than the topics is the body language. Bert is just a little more animated, a little more competitive, like a guy at a dinner party who suddenly realizes the new guest might be funnier than him and starts performing for the table. Tom, meanwhile, does this thing where his silence becomes the funniest thing in the room. When Stav is rolling, Tom goes quiet. Not checked out quiet, but watching quiet. The kind that says, "This is impressive and I'm not going to get in the way." Then the summer of 2025 hits. Tom and Bert go off to film and live their lives. But the show can't go dark. So the call goes out. Stavros Halkias and Chris Distefano are stepping in as the Summer Bears. The promotion is clear. They're filling in for a run of episodes, and the branding leans into it as a full-on takeover. The first Summer Bears episode drops, and right away you can tell this is a different animal. The description reads like someone cut the guardrails off a theme park ride. Cholesterol-fueled delusion, fascist neighbors in Queens, circumcision conspiracies, berberine powder, whether the 4th of July is really that different from January 6th, what it means to get fat on purpose, and Bert calling in from his deathbed to insist they talk about Indian people. No lessons, no structure, just greasy hot dogs, high blood pressure, and oversized goofiness. The next week, This Episode Is Getting Us Fired pushes it even further. Stav and Chris show up in what the description calls their finest Queens County court appearance outfits, tales of impersonating cops, telling court stories, running through Chris's brief career as a physical therapist, and his even briefer dance with medical malpractice, talking about massages, AI-generated thirst traps, debating whether Bert and Tom are smashable women, and somehow getting to Benjamin Franklin's sex life. The title says it's going to get them fired. Instead, it makes the audience want to promote them. By the time the milestone 300th episode hits, Stav and Chris aren't framed as guests anymore. They're just running the show. The description hits every note: psychological trauma, back-end romance, cholesterol awareness, Stav explaining how a 3XL shirt, childhood grilled cheese binges, and SNL reruns turned him into the hairy Greek sex symbol we know today, and a prediction that Bert and Tom might end up bankrupt with nothing but podcast houses and Uncrustables. Tom sends in a video message that feels exactly like Segura, understated, monotone, and just sentimental enough to count. Then comes the finale of the run. The Summer Bears phone it in. Stav and Chris talk about how wild the summer was and how shocked they are at how much fans loved it. Chris mentions people stopping him on the street, not just existing Two Bears fans, but new people who found the clips, binge-watched the Summer Bears episodes, and then discovered the main show.
I have been shocked at how much people love this episode. Our episodes.
People have been stopping me in the street and be like, "Thank you for taking over Two Bears."
It almost feels like someone is making them listen to this podcast. It's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's almost
like they're strapped in the Clockwork Orange chair and they have to watch Two Bears, One Cave, and it's like, oh my God, thank God it's two guys we don't really know that well, and it's a better show.
Mark Normand and Sam Morrill crash the episode. They bring eclairs, someone has a stomach bug, they try calling Tom, he doesn't pick up. By any reasonable measure, it's the hottest stretch of Two Bears episodes in a long time. And when the finale airs, they very deliberately leave the door cracked. Maybe Fall Bears, maybe Winter Bears. And then, in December 2025, the Summer Bears come back for winter. A Christmas time episode. More chaos. More food. More spiraling into topics no podcast should be able to justify. And yet they somehow stick the landing again. The cave has been redecorated, and nobody's entirely sure they want it back the way it was. On a normal Two Bears episode, Tom and Bert have a rhythm. One starts a story. It goes somewhere unexpected, but if you've listened long enough, it's also predictable in its unpredictability. Bert's chaos has patterns. He humiliates himself. He gets loud. He overshares about his family. Tom hangs back, keeps poking at him, and then drops one flat, dry line because of course he does. It works for people, and it gets attention, but when Stav sits down, the ceiling comes off. If Bert is a house fire and Tom is a controlled burn, Stav is the guy who walks in and dumps a pan of grease on both. The show doesn't just get louder, it actually feels risky again. Stav has something Tom and Bert don't have in quite the same combination. Total shamelessness about being the subject of the bit and the architect of it. He'll tell a story about his body, his failures, his appetites, his shame, and when you think he's hit the limit, he goes further. There is no floor. Put a guy with no floor into a format that's 300 episodes deep and very comfortable, and suddenly, everyone else starts digging too. With Bert in the room, Stav becomes a one-upper. Bert tells a disgusting story. Stav finds a way to go worse. Bert commits to a bit. Stav commits harder and stays in it longer, until it transcends into something genuinely absurd, or Bert cracks first. With Tom in the mix, the rhythm shifts, and not always in a good way. He hangs back, over-calculating and waiting for his moment, while Stav is just out there swinging non-stop. Instead of feeling like a clean tag team, it turns into Stav flooding the zone with chaos while Tom occasionally reaches in with one of his chilly, over-precise jabs. It plays less like two hitters at the top of their game, and more like Stav doing the heavy lifting, while Segura drops in every so often to remind you he's still there. When Tom lets Stav drive, the show becomes a hostage situation. The audience is trapped in the best way by Stav's libido, his food opinions, his Greek shame, and his willingness to explain Benjamin Franklin's romantic history like a man who did the homework and can't wait to ruin your day. The fans felt it immediately. Pull up the comments under any Summer Bears episode and you see the same themes over and over. Why does this feel like the best Two Bears has been in years? I love Tom and Bert, but I need Stavros and Chris to take over permanently. They need to be the Fall Bears, Winter Bears, honestly, just all of the Bears. Someone tell Tom he doesn't need to come back. People are writing actual paragraphs in a YouTube comment section about why the Summer Bears run captured what they always wanted the show to be. Less comfortable, more chaotic, more alive. You can see newer viewers arguing with longtime fans about the best Bears configurations like it's a fantasy league. Inside the show, Stav and Chris acknowledge it. They talk on mic about how shocked they are by the response. Chris talks about people stopping him out in the world. They spend part of the final episode just unpacking the fan reaction and whether they'd ever do it again. It's funny, self-aware, and a little bittersweet, because they clearly had the time of their lives, and they also know they're still guests in someone else's house. The fans do not care about that distinction. To them, the substitute teachers showed up, the class actually paid attention, and now they want those teachers' tenure. Zoom out for a second. The comedy podcast ecosystem is bloated at this point. You've got Rogan cranking out 3-hour, quote-unquote, important conversations and Kill Tony factory farming open mic kids into content in real time. There's a huge middle tier of shows quietly doing solid episodes for people who actually like comedy, not just hype. Somewhere in all that, the biggest shows get so locked into playing themselves that they forget what made them feel dangerous or exciting in the first place. They started out dangerous and unpredictable. Over time, success made them comfortable, and comfort is the natural enemy of danger. What Stav did on Two Bears was remind everybody, hosts and audience, what it felt like when anything could happen.
Feelings for us.
We're
not sticking around.
We're not sticking around. Here's how committed we are to making sure this episode is awful. We want you to stick around to the end because the last 5 minutes, I'm going to massage Stav.
He doesn't need Two Bears to survive. His stand-up is selling. The Netflix special hit hard. His movie Let's Start a Cult got a theatrical run and landed on Hulu. He popped up in Steven Soderbergh's sci-fi series Command Z. He walked in a Kid Super Paris fashion show. Stavy's world is healthy. The tours are stacked. He's in that rare spot where he's both a rising star and already established. So his appearances on Two Bears aren't a career move. They're what happens when someone who's already good at everything sits down in your format and accidentally shows you what else it could be. Stav and Chris didn't just guest on a successful show, they accidentally revealed a different version of what that show could be. The original format is polished and clearly works for a lot of people. The timing is tight, the audience is huge, and the chemistry has a well-oiled professional feel to it. But when Stav comes in with Chris, it turns into something way wilder. Nobody slows down a bit that's going too far. The riffs just keep escalating. And suddenly Benjamin Franklin's love life is a perfectly acceptable topic for minutes on end. It feels less like a carefully managed brand, and more like hanging out with a self-appointed hairy Greek heartthrob who is fully committed to the bit, and somehow delivering on it in real time. Would Stav ever become a permanent bear? He's been pretty careful about that. He's talked about not commodifying the summer, about letting it live as a memory. There's something oddly sweet about that from a man whose main professional mode is joyful filth. Tom and Bert have their version of the show, and it clearly works for their fans. But the Summer Bears run was a different animal. 6 weeks where Stav and Chris turned that format into something people are still quoting and rewatching. The real question for us isn't, should Stav replace anyone? It's, what did those episodes prove about how much better this kind of show hits when it's built around Stav in the first place? These shows are chemistry experiments. Add a new element, and sometimes you get a reaction that surprises everyone, especially the people who thought they knew the formula. Stav walked into Two Bears, and the reaction was immediate and loud. The fans heard it in real time, the clips spread, the comments filled up, and in the finale, when they talk about what they'd just done, there's this moment where Stav and Chris sound genuinely amazed that it happened at all. Which is the most Stav thing possible. A guy who accidentally takes over one of the biggest podcasts in comedy, runs it hotter than it's run in years, drives fan engagement through the roof, and then seems legitimately surprised anyone noticed. He looks like every bodega clerk's cool cousin. He talks like a man raised equally on Greek mythology and internet filth. He eats like somebody who has made peace with food and is celebrating the treaty. He laughs like the joke knocked something loose in his chest. And when he walked into the Two Bears studio, the show stopped being a hang and started being a carnival. The hosts became characters in someone else's story. The audience became witnesses to a version of the show they didn't know they needed. So when people say Stav took over Two Bears, One Cave, they're not saying Tom and Bert are done. For one summer, and then again when he came back that winter, the show briefly became what it's supposed to be. Two people in a room, seeing how far the funny can go. With Stav there, it finally felt like it did. Thanks for watching, and if you want more of this, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment so I know to keep it coming.